call came while I was sitting in the infusion center for in my arm, watching poison drip into my veins to kill the cancer trying to kill me. Rebecca, we need to talk about the wedding date. My sister Olivia's voice had that edge I'd learned to recognize, the one that meant she'd already decided something and was simply informing me of my compliance. What about it? Memorial Day weekend is perfect. The venue has an opening and Connor's family can all make it. But it conflicts with one of your chemo sessions. I looked at the 4-bag at the other patients around me in various stages of treatment, at the nurse who just checked my vitals because the side effects were particularly bad this round. Olivia, I can't miss chemo. The treatments are scheduled specifically. Can't you just reschedule? Move it to the week before or after. This is my wedding, Rebecca. I've been planning this for months. Chemo doesn't work like that. The timing is critical. My oncologist. Oh, come on. It's one session. Surely they can be flexible. You're being dramatic about this. I closed my eyes. I have stage 3 breast cancer. The treatment protocol is 18 weeks of chemotherapy followed by surgery. Missing a session could. Could what? It's 1 week. You're not going to die from waiting 7 days. She paused. Look, I know you're going through something difficult, but this is my wedding. My one special day. Can't you think about someone other than yourself for once? The nurse approached, having clearly overheard. She shook her head sympathetically. I can't miss the treatment, Olivia. Fine. Then come to the wedding bald. But you're not ruining my photos by looking sick. Wear a nice wig at least. And maybe some extra makeup to hide the cancer look. She hung up. The nurse touched my shoulder gently. Your sister is in medical school? Johns Hopkins. 3rd year. Top of her class. And she just asked you to skip chemotherapy for a wedding? Yes. The nurse's expression hardened. That's not just ignorant. For a medical student, that's dangerous. I didn't respond. What could I say? That my family had always prioritized Olivia? That when I was diagnosed 6 months ago, my mother's first concern was whether I'd lose my hair before Olivia's engagement photos. That my father had asked if I could time the surgery to not interfere with Olivia's medical school graduation? My cancer was an inconvenience to my sister's timeline. The family dinner was 3 days later. Mom had insisted, we need to finalize wedding plans, and Rebecca, you really should make an effort to participate more. I showed up wearing a scarf to cover my thinning hair, exhausted from the latest round of treatment. Olivia was radiant in designer clothes, her perfect hair and perfect skin glowing with health and privilege. Rebecca. Mom air kissed near my cheek, careful not to actually touch me. Look, while you're here, come see the seating charts. The dining room table was covered in wedding planning materials. Color swatches. Vendor proposals. Guest list. My father poured wine for everyone except me. You probably shouldn't with the medications, right? Olivia launched into wedding updates. The dress. The flowers. The honeymoon in Bali. Every detail meticulously planned, breathtakingly expensive. And the date is definitely Memorial Day weekend, she announced, looking directly at me. I've already sent save the dates. Olivia, I told you that's my chemo week. And I told you to reschedule. Have you talked to your doctor? Yes. She said missing a treatment could compromise the entire protocol. The cancer could progress. I could. Oh, please. Olivia rolled her eyes. You're being overdramatic. I've been studying oncology this semester. One mistreatment isn't going to kill you. My mother nodded. Olivia's right, dear. She's at Hopkins, one of the best medical schools in the country. Surely she knows what she's talking about. She's a 3rd-year student. My oncologist has been practicing for 20 years. Are you seriously going to take medical advice from some local doctor over your sister? Dad frowned. Olivia is going to be a doctor. A real one. At a top hospital. I am seeing a real doctor. Dr. Sarah Morrison is the head of oncology at Rebecca. Olivia's voice was sharp. This is my wedding. My one special day. I have been planning this for a year. You've known about your little medical situation for what, 6 months? Surely your treatment can be adjusted for 1 week. My little medical situation? Olivia, I have cancer. And I'm getting married. Which is more important, your vanity treatment or your sister's happiness? I stared at her. Vanity treatment? You think chemotherapy is vanity. Well, what else would you call it? You're pumping yourself full of drugs that make you sick so you can keep your hair and not look old. It's basically cosmetic at this point. The room went silent. Even my parents looked uncomfortable. Olivia, I said quietly, chemotherapy is killing the cancer cells in my body. Without it, the cancer will spread. I could die. You're being dramatic. I've studied this. Early-stage breast cancer is totally survivable with just surgery. The chemo is probably overkill anyway. I have stage 3 cancer. Not early stage. Stage 3. The tumor is. Whatever. The point is you're not dying tomorrow. My wedding is in 8 weeks. I need you there looking presentable, not making everything about your health issues. I stood up, my legs shaky. I can't do this. Rebecca, sit down, Mom commanded. We're not done discussing the wedding. I'm not missing chemo for a wedding. And I'm not going to sit here and be told my cancer is vanity. I walked out, got in my car and drove home to my apartment. I cried the whole way, partly from exhaustion, partly from the soul-crushing realization that my family cared more about wedding photos than my survival. 2 weeks later, I was back in the infusion center when my phone rang. Dr. Morrison's office. Rebecca, this is Dr. Morrison. I need to discuss something sensitive with you. Are you available to talk? I'm in treatment now, but yes. I received a very unusual call today from Johns Hopkins Medical School. Specifically, from Dr. Richard Chin, the Dean of Medicine. My stomach dropped. Why? Apparently, your sister Olivia submitted a paper for her oncology rotation analyzing a case study. The case study was you. What? She used your medical records, which she obtained without authorization, to write a paper arguing that your treatment protocol is excessive. She claimed your oncologist is overtreating for profit, and that you could safely skip multiple chemotherapy sessions without significant risk. I couldn't breathe. Rebecca, what she wrote is not just wrong, it's dangerously incompetent. She misrepresented your pathology, ignored your staging, and drew conclusions that could kill you if followed. Dr. Chin called me personally because he was so alarmed by the quality of her work that he wanted to verify the actual facts of your case. Oh my God. I walked him through your real diagnosis. Stage 3 triple-negative breast cancer. Aggressive cellular characteristics. High risk of metastasis. The exact treatment protocol we're using and why each session is critical. What did he say? He was appalled. Not just by her medical incompetence, but by the ethical violations. She accessed your records without consent, used your private medical information without permission, and demonstrated such fundamental misunderstanding of oncology that he's questioning whether she should continue in the program. She's going to be kicked out? There's going to be a hearing. The medical school takes ethical violations very seriously, especially when they involve patient privacy and dangerous medical recommendations. Dr. Chin wanted me to inform you because you may need to provide testimony. I sat in silence, processing. My sister had stolen my medical records to prove she was right about me skipping chemo for her wedding. There's more, Dr. Morrison continued. Dr. Chin wanted you to know something else. He's been the keynote speaker at several oncology conferences I've attended. We've collaborated on research. When he heard my name as your doctor, he asked me to assure you that you're receiving excellent care. He knows you. We're colleagues. He's one of the leading researchers in breast cancer treatment. And he was horrified that a student at his institution would suggest you compromise your treatment for a social event. The hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks later. I was subpoenaed to provide testimony about the unauthorized access to my records. My family's reaction was predictable. Mom, how could you do this to Olivia? She's worked so hard. Dad, you're destroying your sister's career over a mistake. She's just a student. Olivia, you vindictive bitch. I was trying to help you and you're getting me expelled. I blocked their numbers and focused on surviving. My treatment. My health. My life. The hearing was held at Johns Hopkins. I sat in a conference room across from a panel of medical school administrators, ethics board members, and Dr. Chin himself. A distinguished man in his 60s with kind eyes and an expression of profound disappointment. Olivia sat with her attorney looking defiant. Dr. Chin began. Ms. Carter, can you confirm that you did not give your sister Olivia Carter permission to access your medical records? I did not. And did you give permission for her to use your case as the basis for an academic paper? No. He turned to Olivia. Miss Carter, student, how did you obtain these records? Olivia's attorney whispered to her. She spoke carefully. My sister talks about her treatment a lot. I took notes. You took notes detailed enough to include pathology reports, staging classifications and specific drug protocols? She shared that information with the family. Dr. Morrison, attending as a witness, spoke up. That's false. I've reviewed the paper. It contains information from Rebecca's medical charts that she wouldn't have known herself. Technical pathology details, biopsy results, imaging findings. This information could only have come from direct access to medical records. Dr. Chin opened a folder. We've also discovered that Ms. Carter accessed patient records at her rotation hospital using her student credentials. We have digital logs showing she viewed her sister's file multiple times. Olivia's face went pale. That's a HIPAA violation, one of the ethics board members said. A serious one. Dr. Chin continued reading from Olivia's paper, his voice increasingly stern. You wrote, and I quote, "The patient's treatment protocol represents excessive intervention driven by profit motive rather than medical necessity. Chemotherapy could be safely reduced or eliminated without significantly impacting outcomes." He looked up. Ms. Carter, your sister has stage 3 triple-negative breast cancer. This is one of the most aggressive forms of breast cancer. Without the full treatment protocol, her 5-year survival rate drops from 70% to less than 30%. You're not just wrong, you're recommending something that would likely kill her. I was just exploring alternative approaches. By using your sister's stolen medical records to argue she should skip treatment for your wedding? The room went silent. Yes, Dr. Chin said, we know about that too. We spoke with your family members who confirmed you've been pressuring Rebecca to miss chemotherapy to attend your wedding. That you called her treatment vanity, and suggested one session wouldn't matter. Another board member spoke. Ms. Carter, you do understand that as a medical student, you're held to professional standards? That suggesting a patient skip critical cancer treatment demonstrates unfitness for the profession. Olivia's attorney tried to object, but she cut him off. She's my sister. She's being dramatic about everything. The cancer probably isn't even that serious. She just wants attention. Dr. Morrison stood. I've brought Rebecca's actual medical files. With her permission, I'd like to show the panel exactly how serious her condition is. I nodded consent. Dr. Morrison displayed my scans on the screen. The tumor. The affected lymph nodes. The pathology showing aggressive cellular characteristics. This is not drama, she said quietly. This is a woman fighting for her life. Every treatment matters. Every session is scheduled based on careful analysis of how to give her the best chance of survival. And this student, she gestured to Olivia, violated her privacy, stole her medical information, and used it to argue she should compromise her treatment for a party. Dr. Chin closed the folder. Ms. Carter, the panel will deliberate, but I want to be clear about what we're considering. You violated HIPAA. You breached patient confidentiality with your own family member. You demonstrated gross medical incompetence in your assessment. And you prioritized a social event over a patient's survival. He paused. These are not the qualities we want in physicians. Olivia was expelled from Johns Hopkins 2 weeks later. The ethical violations were too severe. The medical incompetence too dangerous. The breach of trust too complete. She blamed me entirely. So did my parents. The voicemails and emails were brutal. You destroyed your sister's dreams over a grudge. She was trying to help you and you got her expelled. What kind of sister does this? I never responded. I was too busy with chemotherapy, with healing, with fighting for my life. Dr. Chin sent me a personal note. Ms. Carter, I want you to know that Dr. Morrison is providing you with excellent care. Your sister's assessment was not just wrong, it was dangerously incompetent. Please continue your treatment exactly as prescribed. You have a strong chance of beating this, but only if you don't listen to people who value a party more than your life. I framed that letter and put it next to my treatment schedule. I finished chemotherapy 3 months later. The surgery was successful. The cancer was gone. During my final scan, Dr. Morrison smiled. Clear. Complete remission. I cried. From relief. From exhaustion. From the overwhelming weight of having survived despite my family's interference. You did it, Dr. Morrison said. You fought hard and you won. Thank you for believing me. For protecting me. Always. That's what doctors do. I walked out of the hospital cancer-free, into a life without my family but with something more valuable. The knowledge that I'd chosen survival over their approval. Olivia never apologized. Neither did my parents. 2 years later, I heard through extended family that Olivia was working as a pharmaceutical sales rep. She'd applied to other medical schools but been rejected. The ethical violations followed her. My mother called once, asking if I'd consider writing a letter supporting Olivia's reapplication. I hung up without answering. Some relationships can't be saved. Some people will always choose the wedding over your life. And some lessons you learn at the cost of everything you thought family meant. But I survived. And that was worth more than any relationship built on the expectation that I should die conveniently. The Mitchell Estates' annual summer party was in full swing. Crystal champagne flutes sparkled in the afternoon sun as Silicon Valley's elite mingled around the pool. I sat quietly in my garden chair, separated from the important guests on the main terrace. I checked my phone discreetly. Message from my COO. Jet approaching. ETA 25 minutes. Contracts signed. Emma. Mom's voice carried across the lawn. The garden really is where you belong. With the other disappointments. I slipped my phone away. Hello, Mom. My brother James raised his champagne from the terrace. The lawn is for failures, sis. Though I'm sure your little software company is cute. If only they knew about the technological empire I'd built while they weren't watching. Not everyone can run a successful tech company, Dad added, greeting another venture capitalist. Some people just lack vision. I checked my watch. 20 minutes. Speaking of success, James straightened his designer blazer. Dad, should we tell everyone our news? Dad beamed. Yes. Mitchell Tech is going public next month. James secured major backing from Valley Partners. That's wonderful, I said quietly, checking my phone again. 15 minutes. See. Mom gestured toward James. That's real success. Not whatever small-time coding you're doing. The lawn is for failures, she announced loudly enough for nearby guests to hear. The terrace is for achievers. 10 minutes. Emma could still join Mitchell Tech, Dad offered. Maybe in quality assurance. I'm happy with my work, I said. Happy. James scoffed. Happiness doesn't build billion-dollar companies, sis. Real work does. 5 minutes. A distant sound caught everyone's attention. The distinctive whine of jet engines approaching. That's odd, Dad frowned. The airport's restricted airspace today for our party. I stood from my garden chair, smoothing my simple dress. Actually, Dad, that's my arrival. You're what? Mom's voice rose. The sleek private jet appeared over the trees, my company's logo clearly visible on its tail. It touched down perfectly on the estate's private airstrip. That's impossible, James whispered. The Genesis logo, one of Dad's business partners pointed. But that's the most valuable private tech company in the world? I smiled. Yes, it is. Dad's champagne glass froze halfway to his lips. You work for Genesis? No, I corrected. I founded it. I am Genesis. The party went silent. All eyes moved from the jet to the woman they'd banished to the garden. But you're just coding small projects, Mom stammered. Actually, I checked my phone one last time. I just closed a $12 billion acquisition. That's why I was late. Board meeting in Tokyo. James collapsed into a nearby chair. Genesis, you're the mysterious CEO nobody's ever seen? The same CEO who just bought controlling interest in Mitchell Tech, I added casually. Those Valley partners backing your IPO? They work for me. Dad's business partners started whispering, phones appearing in manicured hands as they frantically Googled Genesis's latest news. My phone buzzed. Message from my team. Press release ready. Time to show them everything. I looked at their shocked faces. Mom's disdain replaced by disbelief, James's arrogance shattered, Dad's confidence crumbling, and typed back. Yes. Show them what real vision looks like. The Mitchell Estates' pristine lawn had become a stage for the ultimate power shift. The jet's engines wound down as my executive team emerged, their confident strides a stark contrast to the stunned party guests frozen with their champagne flutes. "Let me explain what happens now," I said, standing from my garden chair one last time. "Mitchell Tech's IPO isn't happening next month. At least not the way you planned." "What do you mean?" James's voice cracked. "Genesis isn't just buying controlling interest." I pulled up documents on my tablet. "We're absorbing Mitchell Tech completely. Your revolutionary software? It's 5 years behind what we developed." Dad found his voice. "That's ridiculous. Our tech is cutting edge." "Your tech," I interrupted, "is obsolete. While you were hosting garden parties, Genesis was redefining the entire industry." The party guest had gravitated toward our confrontation, phones recording every moment. "But your little coding projects," Mom whispered. "Were cover stories," I smiled. "Did you really think the CEO of Genesis worked on small-time coding? Everything you mocked was carefully crafted misdirection." My executive team approached, tablets ready. "Ms. Mitchell, the contracts are final. Mitchell Tech is now officially a Genesis subsidiary." James jumped up. "Wait. I'm the CEO of Mitchell Tech." "We're the CEO," I corrected. "As of 3 minutes ago, you're nothing. Unless..." "Unless what?" he demanded. "Unless you can prove your worth to Genesis. Not as Dad's son but as a genuine innovator." "Can you?" Mom stepped forward. "Now see here, young lady." "No, Mom, you see here." I turned my tablet to show Genesis's global reach. "While you were deciding who deserved terrace seating, I built this. A technology empire that makes Mitchell Tech look like a high school project." Dad's business partners were already gravitating toward my executives, sensing where the real power lay. "This is impossible," Dad muttered. "The valuations, the technology." "Genesis is valued at $180 billion, I stated flatly. "Mitchell Tech? A mere $400 million. And that's being generous." My phone buzzed. Message from my CFO. "Markets reacting to acquisition. Genesis stock up 12% in after-hours trading." "You know what's ironic?" I continued, watching their faces. "Every time you put me in the garden, I was on video calls with global tech leaders. Every small project you mocked was worth billions." "The garden is for failures," Mom repeated weakly. "No, Mom. The garden was for watching you underestimate me." And now, the estate's smart screens suddenly lit up with breaking news. Tech World shocked, AS Genesis acquires Mitchell Tech. Mysterious Genesis O revealed, AS Mitchell heiress. Silicon Valley's biggest secret uncovered. "Your options are limited," I addressed my family. "Dad, Mitchell Tech becomes a Genesis research division. You can stay as an advisor if you can handle reporting to your garden failure." He slumped, 30 years of tech industry confidence evaporating. "James," I turned to my brother, "you have two choices. Prove your actual technical skills and earn a real position, or take a generous exit package." "And if I stay?" he asked quietly. "Then you learn what real innovation means. Starting from the bottom, no shortcuts." Mom's hands trembled around her champagne glass. "Emma, please, we can discuss this. Like you discuss my future? My worth? My place at parties." The silence was deafening. My executive team moved forward with more tablets. "The press conference starts in 30 minutes, Ms. Mitchell. Global media is waiting." "Perfect timing," I smiled. "Dad, James, you'll need to decide quickly. The announcement goes live with or without you." "You're destroying everything we built," Dad protested. "No," I corrected. "I'm saving Mitchell Tech from irrelevance. You should thank me. Another year of your outdated tech and you'd be bankrupt." The party guests were openly staring now, phones recording Silicon Valley's most dramatic power shift in decades. "How long?" James asked. "How long have you been Genesis's CEO?" "Since I founded it 6 years ago. Right after you told me my coding ideas were cute little projects." My phone lit up with another message. Global tech media arriving. Ready to reveal phase 2. I looked at their shattered expressions. The family that had exiled me to the garden now standing in the shadow of my jet. "The press conference will explain everything." I gathered my things. "You have 20 minutes to decide. Join the future I'm building or stay in your comfortable past." "And Mom," I added, turning back. The garden isn't for failures. It's for people who see beyond the terrace to something bigger. As my executive team led me toward the jet, I heard the whispers, saw the phones recording, felt the power shifting like tectonic plates beneath Silicon Valley. The sun was setting over the Mitchell estate, casting long shadows across the lawn where I'd been exiled countless times. My executive team had set up a temporary command center in what used to be the pool house, screens showing Genesis's global operations. Ms. Mitchell, my chief strategy officer, approached. The media's asking about Mitchell Tech's current projects. Show them, I nodded. The screens filled with comparison data, Genesis's advanced AI systems next to Mitchell Tech's outdated algorithms. Dad stepped into the pool house, his confidence replaced by uncertainty. Those are our proprietary systems. Were your systems, I corrected. Genesis reverse-engineered them last year. Took our junior team about a week to show all the flaws. James followed, clutching his laptop. But our neural network is 3 generations behind. I pulled up more data. See these pattern recognition rates. Mitchell Tech's best AI is slower than Genesis's prototype from 4 years ago. Mom hovered in the doorway, watching her tech dynasty crumble. Your development team, I continued, has been stuck in old paradigms. While you were celebrating incremental improvements, Genesis was redefining what's possible. The screens showed live feeds from Genesis labs worldwide, quantum computing, advanced AI, technologies that made Mitchell Tech look like ancient history. All this time, Dad whispered, when you said you were working on small projects. I was leading global innovation teams, I finished. Those late-night coding sessions you mocked? I was revolutionizing technology while you were planning garden parties. My phone buzzed again. Message from Tokyo. Asian markets opening. Genesis stock soaring on acquisition news. Here's what happens tomorrow, I addressed them. Mitchell Tech's board meets at 9 a.m. They'll approve the Genesis acquisition because they know it's their only chance at survival. And us? James asked quietly. You said the garden was for failures, I smiled. Consider this your chance to prove you belong on the terrace. If you can earn it. The screens switched to live feeds of global news coverage. Genesis emerges from shadows. Mitchell Tech acquired. Family drama rocks Silicon Valley. Garden TO greatness. Tech's new queen. Your positions at Mitchell Tech are gone, I stated flatly. But Genesis always needs talented people, if they're willing to learn humility first. Humility. Mom found her voice. We built a tech empire. No, Mom. You built a tech company. I built an empire. There's a difference. My executive team moved with practiced precision, preparing for the press conference. Each screen showed another aspect of Genesis's dominance. Market share, technological breakthroughs, global influence. Tomorrow morning, I continued, Mitchell Tech's employees learn they work for Genesis. Your choice is simple. Help them adapt or step aside. Dad stepped forward. Emma, please. We can work together. Like you worked with me? I raised an eyebrow. How many times did you dismiss my ideas? How many garden chairs did you give me? The silence was heavy with regret. My phone lit up. Press conference stage ready. Global broadcast in 15 minutes. You have until the press conference to decide. I gathered my materials. Join Genesis as regular employees, learning and earning your positions, or watch from the garden as we absorb everything you built. Regular employees? James looked stricken. But I'm CEO. Wasu, I corrected. Now you're nothing, unless you can prove your worth without Dad's name backing you. The estate's grounds had transformed into a media circus. News vans lined the driveway, reporters positioned their cameras, all waiting to see the Genesis CEO emerge from the shadows. One last thing, I turned back to them. That garden chair? I'm having it bronzed and installed in Genesis's lobby. A reminder that success doesn't come from where you sit. It comes from what you build while others aren't watching. Mom stepped forward. Emma, we're still family. Are we? I challenged. Or are we just people who share a last name and a garden where you put your disappointments? The screens showed Mitchell Tech's stock price plummeting as Genesis soared. The market had already decided which Mitchell vision would survive. 10 minutes to press conference, my assistant announced. I looked at my family one last time. The father who dismissed my ideas, the brother who mocked my work, the mother who exiled me to the garden. Time to decide, I said simply. The future waits for no one, not even the Mitchells. The next morning's headlines were everywhere. From garden chair to tech throne, Genesisio's revenge. Every tech blog and business channel buzzed with the story of how the Mitchell family's failure had built the world's most valuable private tech company while they banished her to the lawn. I sat in Genesis's real headquarters, a stunning glass tower that made Mitchell Tech's offices look like a startup garage. The wall of smart glass displayed our global operations while my small coding projects reshaped the tech world. Ms. Mitchell, my assistant called. Your family's here. All of them. I watched through the smart glass as they entered the building's lobby, their usual confidence replaced by nervous awe. Send them up. They emerged from the private elevator, eyes wide at the reality of what I'd built. Gone were Mom's dismissive smirks, Dad's condescending confidence, James's arrogant swagger. Please sit, I gestured to the visitor area. I assume you've seen the morning coverage? Everyone has, James whispered. TechCrunch wired Wall Street Journal. The garden chair billionaire, tech's greatest secret. Not so secret anymore, I noted. Though you had 6 years to discover it yourselves. Mom touched one of the smart glass panels tentatively. This is incredible. More incredible than my small-time coding? Dad cleared his throat. We spent all night reviewing Genesis's patents. The quantum computing breakthroughs, the AI innovations. Now you review them? I raised an eyebrow. Not when I tried explaining them at every family gathering. We should have listened, Mom said quietly. Should have. I stood, walking to the windows overlooking Silicon Valley. Like when I tried showing you our neural network prototype and you told me to stop playing with computers? James stepped forward. About my position at Mitchell Tech. Your former position, I corrected, pulling up performance data. Our analysis shows your division has underperformed for 3 years. Care to explain? He paled. I followed industry standards. Standard. I laughed. Genesis doesn't do standard. We set standards. That's why we're worth $180 billion while Mitchell Tech stagnated at $400 million. The screens showed Genesis's global impact, technologies transforming industries, innovations reshaping the future. Emma, Dad tried again, we were blind. So focused on traditional success. That you missed real innovation, I finished. Do you know why I kept the garden chair appearances? Why I played along with your dismissals? They shook their heads. Because it showed me exactly who people really were. Those who saw beyond appearances found Genesis. The rest. I gestured to them, stayed in their comfortable bubbles. Mom smoothed her designer dress nervously. We can change. Learn to see differently. Can you? I challenged. Can Silicon Valley's premier tech family accept that real innovation doesn't come from garden parties and status? The screens filled with more headlines. Genesis revolutionizes tech landscape. Mitchell Tech absorbed into Genesis empire. Family dynamics upended by daughter's billions. You have choices, I said finally. Dad, your development teams need complete retraining. James, you can start as a junior developer. If you can handle actually coding instead of just managing. They exchanged glances, understanding their new reality. What do you want from us? James asked softly. Want? I smiled. I want you to understand that while you were planning garden parties, I was planning technological revolutions. While you were deciding who deserved terrace seating, I was deciding the future of technology. Dad stepped forward. Please give us a chance to what? Finally see me? Or just see my success? Both, Mom said quietly. We were wrong. So terribly wrong. I turned back to the city view, my city now in many ways. You know what the real difference is between us? You saw tech as a family business. I saw it as a way to change the world. My phone lit up with another message. Quantum computing breakthrough ready. Time to announce phase 3. Here's what happens now. I faced them again. You'll learn our systems from the ground up. No shortcuts, no family privileges. Prove you can innovate without the Mitchell name carrying you. And if we accept? Dad asked. Then show me the great Mitchell Tech team can adapt to real innovation. Prove you can move beyond garden parties to actual technological advancement. They nodded, their carefully curated tech world transformed by the daughter they dismissed. The next press conference starts in an hour. I checked my phone. I'm announcing Genesis's quantum computing breakthrough. You're welcome to attend, from the general seating section. As they turned to leave, Mom paused. The garden chair is being installed in our lobby today, I finished. A reminder that true success grows even in hostile soil. After they left, I turned back to the screens showing Genesis's worldwide impact. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just succeeding, it's succeeding so monumentally that even those who exiled you have to look up to see how far you've risen. And in tech, true power comes not from where you sit, but from what you build while others aren't watching. As I prepared for the press conference, I smiled, knowing that every future garden party would be haunted by the memory of the daughter who turned her exile into an empire. That was better than any terrace seat.